Alright, hi, my name is Jake Wood. My game for individual investigation that I created is titled Beneath Us. My goal in this game was to teach myself how to make a playable 3D game, and I wanted to do it with an unfamiliar engine. I previously had only used 2D game engines, so I had to do a little bit of research, but I decided that Unreal Engine was almost exactly what I was looking for because my goal for this game was to take the framework of a first-person horror game and apply it to a non-first-person horror game. So I took the framework of very, very popular first-person horror games like the Resident Evil series and the Outlast series, and I applied them to game concepts from Namco's hit arcade classic, Dig Dug. The reason I chose Dig Dug is because I felt that the mechanics presented in Dig Dug were already very, very close to horror. They just needed a little push over the edge. So I took the responsibility of making that push. Go ahead and hit play here, and I can demonstrate to you some things in my game. So here we have level 1. Basically, we have a bunch of enemies. I put these three here on the surface just for testing purposes and to demonstrate to you what I'm about to demonstrate. As you can hear, there are a lot of enemies. They are all underground. They are in air pockets underground, just as they are in Dig Dug. So basically, we're going to walk over here. We have a shovel right here that you can pick up, and then right here we have a little harpoon gun that you can pick up. Basically, you walk up to it, you hit E to pick it up, and now we can cycle between them with the scroll wheel. Boom! We have a weapon and we have a dig mode. So here we go. I'll show you, I'll demonstrate the weapon. Basically, this is a harpoon gun similar to the weapon in Dig Dug. You just shoot it, it shoots a harpoon, which I will demonstrate to you now. You shoot the harpoon onto an enemy, and it is stuck to the enemy. I can no longer fire this gun anymore. And now, as you see, the enemy blew up. I could not make the enemy inflate as the enemies do in Dig Dug, because there was no deformation that did that. But I have it set so that once the harpoon is attached to the enemy, you left click 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. On that sixth click, the enemy explodes, blood flies out everywhere, and the enemy deactivates. So you are basically using the same mechanic of Dig Dug where you shoot the enemy with the harpoon, you basically inflate him with consecutive left mouse clicks, and after the sixth consecutive click, the enemy blows up. And here we have our shovel mode, which I can demonstrate to you now. Dig a little bit. Boom. Left click digs for you. You can just hold down left click and we can dig. We can dig. We can dig. And basically the player's goal here is going to be, hey, let's find these enemies. Let's listen to where the sound is coming from and let's find these enemies. Uh, the most difficult part of creating this game for me was making it so that the player could actually locate the enemies and not just dig around aimlessly. So for purpose of testing the game, we are just going to dig until we find an air pocket. Boom, there you go. See an air pocket right there? I hear an enemy, I hear an enemy. So we found our enemy. Ignore this. Basically, we're going to shoot the enemy, and then we're going to left click 6 times. Boom, dead. Now there are 30-ish enemies underground, all in their own different air pockets. So our goal here is going to be to locate the enemies and dispatch all of them by inflating them with our harpoon gun and basically blowing them up. Alright, so I'm gonna take a pause really quick. I'm gonna actually go back to the surface for you guys. I want to get into my why a little bit. So I'm gonna go back to the surface so I can talk. Sorry. Okay. We'll go over in the corner so that the noises are a little less. Oh, this was my first air pocket I put. As you can see, I kind of wanted to give it an indication, so I left an opening so you could see, hey, look, there's an air pocket, and this is our demonstration of, oh, look, an enemy. Let's shoot him with the harpoon gun. Okay, now the harpoon is attached to the enemy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Explodes, dead, dismembers, dead. Alright, so I want to get into my goals here. I did not accomplish my planned goal of multiple polished levels for this game, but I did successfully transfer a first-person horror framework into a game that revolves around the same mechanics and themes as Dig Dug. I ended up only being able to accomplish a single polished level, but it combines a horror framework with Dig Dug's game mechanics just as I had hoped to do. So I will say I was very successful in doing that. I basically began my investigation by researching common themes in popular first-person horror games, like the Resident Evil series and the Outlast series, as I mentioned earlier. And once I had the fundamentals of these themes down, I researched Dig Dug, and I wanted to really, really get its core mechanics just ingrained in my brain and how the game presented itself to the player. I basically studied the digging mechanics of Dig Dug as well as the inflating mechanics on enemies in Dig Dug, and then I also researched the environmental hazards of Dig Dug, like the gravity-prone rocks that the player can be crushed by if they dig under. So I chose not to implement the environmental threats into my game because I only have a single polished level, and I wanted the focal point of this level to be the digging and the killing mechanics. I did not want to add more to something that I felt was not ready for more. So, here, kill this guy. Alright, back to the mechanics. In future builds, I will say this, I plan to increase the complexity of levels as the player progresses. So, for example, I plan on level 2 adding environmental hazards like the rocks we just mentioned. So basically, you'll go into an air pocket that, let's say, air pocket right here, boom, and maybe you'll dig forward too. Now, if there's a rock above me right here, I want the rock to fall on the player and deal damage or even immediately kill me. Um, so that's something that I would add in level 2 because I wanted the focal point of this level to specifically be, hey, we need to dig around, find the enemies, and kill them. I didn't want to add too much yet. And then level 3, I planned on adding a second enemy type on top of the environmental hazards. So if you're familiar with Dig Dug, there are two different enemy types in Dig Dug. There's the classic red guy, and there's the dragon enemy. The dragon enemy is capable of phasing through walls and kind of going from air pocket to air pocket. And from air pocket to also the player's tunnel, that like this tunnel that I am digging right now, the dragon enemy type would just phase through the wall and kind of pop up here, like, hey, he's in my tunnel now. And that would add a whole new hazard to this game, a whole new thing for the player to watch out for. So, yeah, I basically just kind of plan on increasing the complexity of the game as the levels progress. Oh, I'm going to display this. The enemies do damage you, and they can kill you. I'll let you guys see that. Boom, one. Boom, two. It's basically on collision. We have a damage player event, and then I'll let you guys see the death. You just ragdoll, and then after 3 seconds it takes you to the game over screen where you can either retry the level or you can just quit the game. We're going to hit retry so that I can talk some more about what I was trying to do here. The retry button just restarts the level fresh. So basically, after I do level 2 and level 3 and work on my increasing complexity as the levels progress, I kind of want to polish the game a little more. I want to make my own art for the title. I want to refine the main menu, and I want to refine the game over screens so that they're kind of more personalized and less generic. I could also deal with refining the killing of the enemies because, I mean, as you can see here, let me pick these up. As you can see, when you kill an enemy, he just kind of falls on the ground, and when you left click 6 times, there's no Like there's no inflation in Dig Dug when you impale an enemy with your harpoon gun and you click that attack input, the enemy gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger until finally they explode. So that is something I will implement in future builds just to show like, hey, one click, a little bit inflated, two clicks, a little bit more inflated, three clicks, a little bit more inflated, four clicks, starting to get big, five clicks, huge, and then six click blows up. Yeah, but this is my game. It's titled Beneath Us. I am very proud of the work I did, honestly. I taught myself how to make a game in Unreal Engine. I had previously never touched Unreal Engine. I only had heard of it. So the fact that I have something playable and I have core concepts that I can demonstrate, that's a huge success to me. I think that if I put a little bit more time and effort into this, I could really make something here that I put on my portfolio, something that I really, really could be proud of. Not to say that I'm not proud of this, but it is not fully polished, and I do plan on adding more levels, and I do plan on adding to the complexity of it. But yeah, but that's all for me. Overall, walking away from this investigation, I would say I walked in with little to no knowledge of how to create a game. Like, I'm in animation game design. That is my major at Kent State University, but I still didn't know how to make a game, which is what I want to do. So I decided, hey, it's time to learn. I need to put 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 my working pants on, and I need to figure out how to make a game. I need to really do what I want to do because it's got to start somewhere. So I'm very, very happy with what I came out of this with. I'm glad I figured out digging, I figured out the enemy deaths, I figured out enemy patrol routes, I figured out health mechanics and death mechanics and a ragdoll mechanic, I figured out dismemberment, I figured out how to place items where you can just walk and pick them up, and I figured out how to swap between the shovel and the weapon, and I figured out how to make it so the harpoon, you can shoot it again if it doesn't attach to an enemy, but if it attaches to an enemy, then the next left mouse clicks will inflate the enemy, and after 6, kill him. I figured out a lot of blueprinting in Unreal Engine, a lot of it, and I am overall very, very proud of what I accomplished. So yeah, that's all from me. If you enjoyed, thank you for watching.